everybody. Welcome back to Dana with the Data. And this is a special podcast segment to what I'm calling the Fulton County Corruption. So today I have Mr. Charles Rambo and Mr. Rashad Snellings. So I want to start with you, Mr. Rambo. Please briefly reintroduce yourself because you've been on the platform several times.
Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Charles Rambo. I am a retired lieutenant commander from the Fulton County Sheriff's Office with over 34 years of real-world expertise in law enforcement, judicial process, corrections, intelligence, tactical, you name it, I've done it, including to being an expert witness as well as an expert commentator on shows like The Real Dana and Judge Joe Brown. So I want to thank you all for bringing my insights on Fulton County government to your platform.
And Mr. Rashad Snellings, how are you?
I'm doing pretty good. My name is Rashad Snellings. I am a resident of the city of South Fulton. By trade, I'm sorry, my career is I am a software engineer. We design and develop software for different banks and mortgage companies. In my spare time, I act more as just keeping the government in line and keeping them in check, and just making sure I'm exposing and rooting out all of the corruption in the city of South Fulton.
And that is why I wanted to create this special segment, because you've been on here, Rashad, talking about things that happen, with you versus your government. Mr. Charles Rambo, the things you had to deal with in the county of South Fulton. So it's just a lot of corruption. And it's like, I need a special segment to have the people of Georgia, of Fulton County, come on the show to highlight, the corruption that is going on. It's very important that we hear from the people. So tell us your situation that's going on right now, Rashad.
All right, so the last time I was on the show, I was talking about how I had to file a lawsuit against the city of South Fulton, and I won that lawsuit. So what the lawsuit was about, just to remind everybody, it was about the city's response to how it handles open records requests. I sued the city, won that lawsuit. There was a court order that was issued. When that court order was issued, it required the city to pay my attorney's fees. They had to post on their website the fees that they were charging people for open records requests. They also had to retrain all of their employees that handle open records requests. In addition to that, they had to hold a public training for all of the residents. Any resident that was interested in taking open records training, South Fulton had to partner with a third-party attorney, and this attorney had to do this training. So my attorney, his name is Mario Williams, he actually had to file another lawsuit against South Fulton because South Fulton violated the court order, and we had to sue them in order to get them to comply with that court order. So we are still in court over that right now, and then that spawned another lawsuit, which is another open records lawsuit, because they're once again violating the Open Records Act. So that's what's going on that front. But the reason that I'm here today is, if you recall, at the beginning of this year, there was a lot of talk about the mayor of South Fulton, about his taking trips overseas and things of that nature. That was actually one of my open records requests that uncovered that. Originally what happened was I heard this rumor from city council that the mayor was trying to take the entire city council to Rwanda for a retreat. So I did an open records request. I saw that was true, but the city council said no. Right. So I then received a Instagram link of the mayor in Ghana, where he was encouraging people to come meet the U.S. mayor in Ghana. So I just wanted to know if we were paying for it. So I did an open records request on it. I got his P card, his city issued credit card, and I was concerned with some of the things that I saw on his card as well as on the city council's credit card statement. So I made a social media post on Nextdoor. I posted about it, and it drew a lot of attention from the public. It drew a lot of attention from the media, and then that's how we got to where we were at. So when this came up in the council meeting, the city council decided that they were going to do a forensic audit only on the mayor, and they were going to do a compliance audit on themselves. So they did a deep dive into the mayor's credit card, but on their credit card, all they did was just check to make sure the receipts were turned in, which a lot of people in the public had an issue with that. Carmelita Gomes was saying that this is the city holding him accountable, and that was not holding anybody accountable. That was targeting your political foe. So for months, residents have been asking for this forensic audit on the city council's credit cards, and they will not do it. We actually had a council meeting last week where the mayor put this on the agenda because there was a petition that I created that over 100 residents filled out, and they asked for this forensic audit on the city council's credit card statement, and the city council took it off the agenda indefinitely and said that the mayor is never allowed to ask for it again, and it just appears to be a cover-up of their misdeeds and their financial abuses of our systems.
Now to a developing story. Tonight, Channel 2 Action News learned that an audit found the mayor of South Fulton used a city credit card to make several questionable purchases, and investigators say that violates policy. Channel 2's Courtney Francisco live outside of City Hall. And Courtney, we've done so much reporting on this, that this audit happened because voters accused the mayor of misusing city funds.
Right, and I was inside that building tonight when the auditors said the mayor's credit card purchases violated city policy, and the mayor said maybe, but it wasn't unethical or criminal because he didn't know any better. We saw some eyebrows raising and heads shaking in the crowd listening to the mayor's credit card expenses.
I was kind of shocked.
Taxpayers called for the investigation after accusations that Mayor Khalid Kamal misused funds. So auditors investigated 2 years worth of the mayor's credit card statements.
All right, so what we found?
20 trips totaling approximately $70,000 and 20 airline seat upgrades.
Including trips outside the United States to Canada, South America, Africa, and Europe.
Auditors said the city manager or clerk did not approve any of it. That's required under the city's travel policy.
We found other questionable purchases. Now, these may or may not violate policy.
Examples included a charge for ancestry linkage, Apple Music, and a desk that converts to a pool table. The mayor's response in front of the crowd?
A petty person would say, we need to do a $55,000 audit of each of the 7 council people, but I'm not petty. And no.
After the mayor admitted he may have violated policy.
I may have. I will say this. All of my expenses were approved.
But argued the rules were not clear.
The city manager did not approve the travel. People in her department approved the travel without her knowing.
I asked about those questionable charges, like the ancestry company.
I'm not sure what that charge was.
But you would know if you got that done or not. I would remember.
I do not recall.
Next, voters want to know what the mayor is going to pay back.
Oh, absolutely. I want to know the results of that.
And city council told the city manager to set up a payment plan with the mayor so he can pay the city back. And the mayor said he wants every city council member to show their credit card receipts and approvals. George?
One step closer, Courtney, to finding out what's going on here. Thank you.
And so what is the status right now?
So the status right now is there is no forensic audit. Fox 5, which is our local news here, they're going to be running a story where they're going to be interviewing residents about this forensic audit tomorrow at City Hall. So we're going to be having a discussion about that. But as of right now, there is no forensic audit. So I'm part of a nonprofit called the South Fulton Coalition, where we do a lot of voter education and things of that nature with our elected officials. So we brought the mayor on, and the mayor basically spoke to the public for about 2.5 hours. And one of the things that he highlighted on the call was Carmelita Gums. She's running for mayor. Some people consider her a front runner. One of her campaign flyers that she sent out, the mayor alleges that taxpayer money was used to send out this political mailer. So I did a recent open records request on that. The city violated the Open Records Act again when I was trying to get that information. And the only way I was able to get the information was I had to actually go to the Attorney General, file a complaint with the Attorney General. The Attorney General had to contact City of South Fulton, and then only after they were contacted by the Attorney General's office is when I got the open records request, which wasn't even complete. So I had to submit another open records request. So we'll see what I get from that.
Okay. And so, and Rambo, you are also a resident of South Fulton as well, and you guys have a mayor election coming up. So the current mayor, he's not running for re-election, correct?
No, that's incorrect. He decided at the last minute that he would jump back into the race.
Oh. So,
Yes.
So how many people are running for mayor in South Fulton?
9.
And I've had one of the councilwomen on the show, like me and the judge, it was about a few months back. And it was South Fulton has been in the news. And it has been a lot of corruption going on under this mayor and probably previous administrations and even in the council. Open records is something that taxpayers, us American citizens, have a right to request and, to know certain things, correct?
Correct.
That's very correct.
Okay. And so when you have public officials, these politicians prohibiting that, they're literally breaking the law, basically.
Yeah, so I don't think this is appropriate, but the way that open records are handled in South Fulton, when I submit an open records request, my understanding is it goes to the city clerk, and then the city clerk, he sends it to whatever department it needs to go to. I think that's the correct thing to do. But if we do any open records requests that have anything to do with an elected official, he does notify that elected official what we're asking for and who asked for the request. And sometimes we will get calls from elected officials, and I just don't. And that deters a lot of residents from submitting open records requests because they don't want the fear of retaliation from an elected official contacting them.
Well, let me add into that is that under the Georgia law, so many different government entities have now centralized the open records request where it doesn't go directly to that agency. It's like that's the middle person. At the end of the day, I don't care who sees it, so long as I get what's required by law is what's called responsive records.
Right.
Exactly what I have requested that is subject to open records. And so long as it's not under an investigation, an active investigation, the public has every right under the Sunshine Laws in Georgia to view those records, whether they be negative, positive, whatever it may be. So for him, as well as many other citizens that have gone through this fracas with the city of South Fulton since its inception in dealing with open records, it's becoming very much a public embarrassment. We're focusing so much of what's going on in Washington, D.C., that we're not focusing on what's going on over on Fulton Industrial, which is the hub of our city hall.
So here's another question, though, because I hear what you're saying, Rambo. We shouldn't care, residents should not care who sees it. However, has there been any type of retributions incidents? Because that's the fear that residents have. Okay, you're going to try to come after me, maybe my family, try to blackmail me. Has there been, retaliation, retribution towards residents who have requested open records and city officials, were alerted to that?
I haven't heard of anything like that happening, but I do know I have been told by residents they don't want to submit the open records request because they don't want to be retaliated against. So they asked me to submit the open records request, and then I submit it, and then I have to fight with the city to get the records, and then once I get them, I do give them to the original requester.
But you
Dana,
have not retaliated against you. They're just trying to delay it. They're just trying to delay giving you the records, but once you get it, you have not experienced any type of retaliation.
No.
And sir, if I could say to you, in dealing with Fulton, even before it became a city, when it was all unincorporated area, and I say this being a union president former, is that sometimes the people you're fighting for are worse than the people that you're fighting against. They will get you to come out and to take the heat and flack, and you're the one that's going to take the heat and flack while everybody says they've got your back. Yeah, they got it way back somewhere in the background. But the second portion to that, and I say this, and you can come at me, I'm saying it, whoever is listening, 42 USC 1983 prohibits any elected official in the official capacity from retaliating against a person who is seeking Freedom of Information Act or Open Records Act. So if you're coming at somebody, you should be very careful that you're not aligning yourself to former Jim Crow practices in an all-black city council of suppressing information and think you're going to use your power and your position as a bully pulpit. You go to hell with that.
Yeah, thank you for that.
And I think the problem, and you're right, because the problem a lot of times could be the residents. Rashad should not be the only one doing his due diligence when it comes to holding these politicians, public officials accountable. Because we're talking about accountability, and the public officials, they know that the residents are not going to do anything, whether they're scared, lazy, or just don't know. So they take advantage of that. And then when you get one person, maybe two, to say, no, I know how this process works, and I want to see what you're doing with the money and, this, that, and the other, then it becomes, less clean up or less delay it, or, less prohibit, the resident from exercising their right. So the point I'm trying to make here is really up to the residents to see a change and to make a change in their city where they live at. And I want to ask you guys, how important is it for us, the public, no matter where you live at in this country, to focus on your local politics? Because this is very local. This is a city, just a city alone. So tell them.
Let me say that's a person who's actually run for office. And that is, as Tip O'Neill said it best, all politics are local. You don't have touchstone with the White House. You're not going to see a Trump. You're not going to see all of the inner workings of the White House. But you can see everything that goes on over on Old National. You can see everything that goes on with inside of Fulton Industrial. So therefore, I said in this manner, watch this, that the elected leader is a reflection of the mindset of the people who put them in office. So what you get is what you are tolerating right now in all forms of politics, whether it be from Old National down to the state capitol, all the way up to Pennsylvania Avenue. What did you elect? As Rob Pitt say, sometimes you have to come back and blame the voters. That's a very hard pill that you have to swallow when you see performances lackluster from the city council to the mayor to the sheriff to all forms of government that is supposed to be for the people and by the people, but otherwise are acting in contradiction.
Yeah, and I agree with that. Now, we recently had a controversy in the city over, so Carmelita Gomes put it in her newsletter that the city was considering removing our millage rate cap. And I saw it in the newsletter. I posted about it on social media. It became such an issue that our state elected officials had to get involved, and they were holding town halls all across the city trying to encourage South Fulton City Council not to do this, right? So it violated our charter because, and that is what the that is what the fight has been over. And so they knew that I was going to litigate this because I had an attorney ready to take them to court over this, and they agreed not to do it. So that's why it's important to follow what your elected officials are doing, because had they had removed that millage rate cap, what would have happened is they could have raised our taxes beyond what the charter allows for, and there will be nothing stopping them from doing that. So, and people would have, their mortgage payments would have increased. They would have been paying higher property taxes for the portion that goes to the city. So that was something that we fought against.
And sir, I would ask and say to you as well, because of you're the leader of you say you're the leader of the South Fulton Alliance?
South Fulton Coalition, yes.
South Fulton Coalition. I remember back before the city became under its own incorporation that it was unincorporated. And that probably was the most vibrant time of a enlightened electorate that really were up on their politics. I'm not sure what has happened, what groups have hijacked the mindset of the voters in South Fulton that dumbs down some of these issues. And I'm not just talking about here in South Fulton, I'm talking across the county, across the country. American politics have basically become dumbed down, that groups control what they want you to hear. And when you go to the poll, you just think, now I'm just going to vote because this person told me to vote. No, vote your conscience. Get out and get up on the issues, and we will stop a lot of this when we know that we have elected officials that truly responds to the people, or they will respond to a recall.
So
Right.
non-people are running for mayor in South Fulton, right?
Mhm.
Including the current mayor, he's running for re-election. So any good prospects, we don't have to promote one person or people, but do you have someone in mind who you may be voting for, or would you keep the same devil that's in office now, re-elect him because that type of devil? So yeah, what does the prospects look like right now in South Fulton mayor? Because the election is November of this year.
Yeah, there are some people that I wish were not running, but there are also people that I think can get the job done and restore confidence in the city. So I do think there is at least one positive prospect.
Would you say that person's name, or?
Yes, for me, I am supporting Dr. Mark Baker.
And Rambo?
Right now, I know that there's going to be a runoff, so I'm going to reserve my judgment to see who actually makes it, based upon what those numbers look like. And I'll probably become even more involved into that runoff in terms of issues, education, so that people, again, won't be dumbed down into a new administration that could come in. Dana, if you really knew the jewel that South Fulton is in comparison to the airport, where the economic structure really could flow, this really should be the Wakanda. Instead of him going over to Africa, we should have folk coming from Africa over here to seeing what a great city that we have become on an international scale. But if you keep having these type of politics play, you have loud and disrespectful elected officials that overcome any type of progression or change or what have you. I don't give a damn if it's Satan or the devil. We just got to get ourselves from up out of the hell that we're in.
And the woman that I had on, the councilwoman from South Fulton, do you remember her name? Is she running for mayor or no?
Her name is Helen Willis. She's the District 3 councilwoman. It's being alleged that she's going to resign from city council probably around March or so, and she's going to run for Marvin Arrington's commission seat. So he's with Fulton County, so she's going to try to venture over into Fulton County.
They're going to keep up the corruption over there. Okay.
All right. So can I say something? And what I'm about to say is going to take us into a different. It's going to take us into a different direction. But I think it's important to talk about this issue also.
Okay.
Okay. So with our police department, right? Our police department is actually under investigation. The city council actually put them under investigation. So a couple of years ago, the current mayor, he stood on the steps of Camelot and he started talking about all the corruption that was happening in the police department. So what caused this was about 9 officers went to human resources and filed complaints about corruption. So the mayor spoke about it publicly. The city council chastised him. They censured him. He wasn't allowed to do certain aspects of his job. They took action against him, and then they did nothing about this corruption that was in the police department. One of our neighboring cities is called Smyrna, is in Cobb County. The city manager that we had at the time, she referred this case over to the Smyrna Police Department. The Smyrna Police Department had to do a full investigation into the city of South Fulton's police department, and then they came up with all these recommendations, and they wrote in their report that criminal behavior was happening in the city of South Fulton Police Department. The mayor got the report. I had to do an open records request to City of South Fulton. They did not give me the report. They said it was under investigation and they couldn't release it. So I went to Smyrna, and Smyrna gave me the report unredacted. So I sent the report to the mayor. The mayor reviewed it, and then the mayor referred the report and the police chief over to the Georgia Bureau of Investigations. It's been about 3 years now. We still don't know what happened with that. We don't even know if they took the case serious or whatnot. So fast forward to 2025, there was a detective. And this detective was on some type of high-speed chase. One of the suspects jumped out of the vehicle, and when he apprehended that suspect, the suspect told him that he was the police chief's nephew. So, and this is all according to a lawsuit. So this detective went to the mayor and he went to the city council. He asked the city council to do something about this. The city council said there's nothing we could do about it. They sent it back to the police chief. The police chief got this all buried. His nephew never got charged or anything like that. And then the detective ended up getting fired. So around the time this detective filed the lawsuit, then I will say about 5 to 6 additional officers, they also went and filed lawsuits against the city. So there was about 7 lawsuits that happened all at the same time against the same police chief. So what the city council decided to do was they put the police chief on paid administrative leave. He's been on paid leave since either July or August at a rate of $18,000 a month, and he's on paid leave. And they had to temporarily promote his assistant. So he's the acting police chief right now. But then they went and hired a director of public safety. His name is Dr. Cedric Alexander, I think his name is. So we have one police chief on leave getting paid $18,000 a month. It was revealed that Dr. Alexander is being paid $25,000 a month. And then we have this acting police chief. I would assume he would assume the salary that the police chief had. So this is some additional things that are happening with our police department.
Wow. Okay. Well, listen, like I said, I want to start something new on this platform, highlighting corruption that is going on in Fulton County, and then eventually expanding it out to other states, other cities, other counties. So, thank you so much, Rashad Snellings, for coming on and
No problem.
let us know, what's going on with the open records in South Fulton, the mayor election, and and anything you're dealing with. And I would love to have you come back, give us an update or anything new that is going on in South Fulton, because it needs to be exposed, but also educating the public of how to get involved and hold your public officials accountable, which
Absolutely.
is really important. And thank you, Charles and Rambo, as always, for coming on and sharing your knowledge as well. So I definitely want you guys to come back and so we could do some more exposing,
Awesome.
and educating.
Awesome. And you probably might want to also talk to some residents in College Park because they're having some trouble down there too. So
Oh, with their public officials as well.
yes. So
All right. So let's
I'll get you their information.
Get information. Thank you. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. And thank you so much, guys, for tuning in. And please share this video, like this video, and make sure you hit the subscribe button. And we will see you in the next video.
Thank you so much. Bye.
Thank you.
Dana with the data. Dana with the data.